Ooh, I really gotta go, but what if there's someone in there? Oh, I'll wait.
Boo! Scared ya, didn't I? Ah, I see you there. I see you whimpering in your seat. You're just on the precipice of having a breakdown at this point because you just can't handle it. Well, guess what? You better prepare yourself. You know, initially this video was supposed to be out on Halloween. Yeah, given the subject matter. But let's just pretend that I didn't miss the deadline and that this is simply me just extending Halloween. This is Swegween. Henceforth, every November shall be Swegween. And what better place to begin than by talking about by far one of the most bizarre things Rockstar ever added to any other games. There's a cult in Bully. During one of the game's creepier missions, Galloway Away, Jimmy finds out from Miss Phillips that English teacher Lionel Galloway has admitted himself to the town's asylum. He did this after being guilt-tripped over his alcoholism by math teacher and royal douchebag Mr. Hattrick. So what do? Well, of course, you send out a 15-year-old kid to head out into the woods all by himself in the middle of the night so that he can sneak onto the grounds of a psychiatric hospital for the criminally insane.
Why don't you go?
Because that loveless scumbag Hattrick told him not to let me in, said I was a bad influence.
Maybe he's got a point.
Meet me near the asylum tonight.
I'll be there.
And Jimmy?
Yes, Miss Phillips?
It's me, not Miss.
What is wrong with you?
Upon reaching the asylum, Miss Phillips shows up and tells you that she'll be waiting outside.
Please hurry and try to talk some sense into him. I'll be waiting for him at the asylum gates.
Don't worry, miss.
Thank you so much.
Now this is when we get into, you guessed it, you know it, we're gonna be covering some juicy beta bully trivia. At this point in the mission, Jimmy would have run into a hostile group of Townies led by Jerry.
Look who it is! Some Bullworth drone hanging out in the wrong part of town!
And who are you supposed to be? The trolls under the bridge?
Don't try to be tough and insult us, kid!
What? You prefer to be called pixies?
Well, we run this part of town, you won't soon forget it! Get 'em!
After fighting off the Townies and being denied entry to the hospital, Jimmy has to climb his way in undetected.
I'm sorry, visiting time is over.
Why?
It's the patient's outside time. Get them some fresh air and all that. Now, run along.
When making your way into hospital grounds, an inmate and local townie, Otto, cartoonishly and quickly approaches you and then says,
"What are you doing? Let's be friends, but don't anger the Watcher."
Originally, it was all supposed to go down a little bit something like this. Jimmy lands his feet on the ground and is instantly noticed by Fenwick, one of the inmates.
A visitor? From the sky! Are you here to save us from the Watcher?
What are you talking about?
The Watcher! He watches everything we do, waiting for just the right moment. Please save us!
Get away from me!
Ah!
Looks like these guys scare pretty easy.
From this point, you would approach different inmates, get their attention, and then lead them somewhere, presumably the front gate.
Oh, a newcomer. How exciting. Did I tell you my theory about the Florida election? I'll just follow you around because I'm crazy.
What are you doing? I think I'll just follow you for a while.
This is really interesting. Maybe you can protect me from the Watcher. Hey, wanna buy some Nigerian yellow cake? Are you off to the Bladen races?
The front gate would have then been opened by somebody, I don't know exactly who, either Jimmy or one of the patients, thus alerting the orderlies.
What's going on over there? I should probably break that up.
What's that commotion? Oh man, I better check that out.
Whoa! Who opened the gate? I have a situation by the gate. I need help.
On my way. Why don't you just close the gate, idiot?
I can't. Something's messed up.
Maybe the statue overloaded again. Check the box around the side.
Now, I don't know exactly why this happened, but at this point in the mission, Jimmy would have been attacked by a group of Townies. Presumably this time from the outside, given the fact that you just opened the gate.
Schoolboys, let's mess him up!
But anyway, yeah, Jimmy gets attacked by the Townies, most likely from the outside, as I said.
Man, the last thing we need is some sort of Watcher stampede again.
Bah! It's blocked.
Subsequently, Jimmy would have fired his trusty handy-dandy slingshot at the fuse box by the statue, setting the creepy statue ablaze and startling the cult members.
The Watcher! The Watcher has awoken! Flee! Flee to save your souls!
What just happened?
Alarm! Alarm! They're breaking out!
Ha! That was pretty cool.
Get back in there!
Go on, get in
All right,
there!
back to your rooms.
Move along!
Get going! Go!
Get
go!
moving!
Go!
During all of this chaos, Jimmy sneaks into the asylum and finds Galloway. And at this point, one of my favorite cutscenes from the game plays, so that's cool.
Patrick was right. I am a loser.
No, you're not. Don't be ridiculous. Come on, we can't let bullies like Mr. Hattrick win.
Okay, Jimmy. Hang on, hang on. You'll be in trouble if they see you. I'll go check myself out. You wait here until everything is clear.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, I think I am done here. I would like to check myself out.
Very well, sir. Please follow me to the front desk.
Lead on!
That should be the last of them.
Actually, we're missing a few, but who'll ever know?
True. No one will care.
Jimmy, I really appreciate this. Thank you. Me too. I am so happy to have my galley bear back.
Galley bear?
Interestingly enough, there was supposed to be a second encounter with this cult. When rescuing Johnny Vincent from the asylum in Chapter 5, how many people do you need to save from this place? There was supposed to be a second encounter with the cult, only this time they'd be hostile. In fact, the mission had a very different set of objectives. You'd explore the asylum, find Johnny, get told to acquire an orderly uniform, find one, and then make your way to the control room. But before doing so, you'd find a bottle of ether.
Careful! Don't knock the ether ball over. The fumes can knock us both out cold.
One bottle of KO fumes.
You'd then somehow use it to knock out the patrolling orderlies and then get to the control room.
What was that? Oh! I'm sleepy.
Tired. Must sleep.
Man, this smells like ether.
Man, this is so boring.
Are you that new guy?
Hey, new guy.
Anything going on? Looks like a quiet shift.
See anything exciting?
Aren't you a little short for an orderly?
You want your break?
Sure, let me buzz you in.
You hit the switch, release all the inmates, and make your escape alongside Johnny, and immediately you would have been targeted by Otto, recognizing you as an outsider.
Here's someone who isn't one of us. Beat him!
You think you can challenge me?
I'm gonna rip your head off!
This ain't none of your business.
One thing that I've always found strange, but also really fortunate, is how Bully has two Brady game strategy guides. One of them is just a normal strategy guide, and the other one contains a lot of unused content. Why? If I had to venture a guess as to why there are two strategy guides for Bully, I would assume that it's because the game was supposed to be released sooner than it ended up being. So I think what happened was they had a mostly finished game close enough to where they initially felt comfortable officially announcing it, but then after a bit of QA testing, they came to the conclusion that no, it's unfinished, and selling unfinished games is bad. We should not do that. Anyway, so the reason I'm mentioning all of this is because this section in the mission is mentioned in the guide. Johnny now appears on the radar as a blue blip. He's waiting for you outside his cell. When you meet him, he asks you to follow him. A blue arrow appears above his head. The orderlies you encounter from here on will not throw Johnny back in his cell. They believe you have him in custody. I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool. After escaping the B block and fighting off Otto, Jimmy and Johnny find themselves locked inside the rec room, just like in the final game. The difference here being that instead of just lifting the door in the way of both of them, Jimmy would have had to go around and find a way of getting to the other side of the door, only the door would have been a different type of door. Just a complete unnecessary detour that doesn't really add anything and feels totally redundant, so I think that's why they removed that part.
Why am I doing everything?
I didn't ask you to come here.
Upon entering the C block, the duo is then ambushed by Clint and Otto. The player then had to defend Johnny from the inmates before exiting through the morgue. And I suppose you could argue that it is technically historically accurate to have this in the game, given how real-life asylums did sometimes have morgues. I think ultimately Rockstar decided to remove all instances of you fighting the inmates because it's not exactly the best thing optically. You, the player, beating up a bunch of mentally ill people. I don't think I would have had a problem with it, honestly. I think it more just came down to Rockstar not wanting to give people the impression that they take mental illness lightly. It is is a shame that you never get to meet the cult again after Galloway Away, but hey, if there's any silver lining to any of this, we have an abundance of leftovers in the game files. From both used and unused dialogue, we can infer that some of the inmates at the asylum live in fear of a supernatural entity known as the Watcher. No such being is ever shown to actually exist in the game canonically, so you could easily chalk this up to the game just parodying cults. It really would not be the first time Rockstar has done something like this. I'm sure a lot of you remember Epsilon in GTA, or maybe the Watcher is real. Probably not, but maybe. Okay, so based on descriptions we're given from the inmates, the Watcher is a sinister force that looms over the cult, one that perpetually observes and haunts them. The name also implies that this mysterious deity is omniscient. And if we're talking about an all-seeing, all-knowing, evil bad, then it is possible that the Watcher is meant to represent a devil-like figure in the belief system of these inmates. I don't actually believe that this is supposed to be the devil. I'm just pointing out that you can draw a few interesting comparisons and analogies to the biblical devil. As of the making of this video, there's a total of 4 recognized cult members. Otto, the aforementioned townie, Fenwick, an adult inmate who's only seen during 2 missions, Mr. Ramirez, one of the adults in the town, and Clint, also known as Henry from the Townies. I should also mention that Clint doesn't have any dialogue really referencing the Watcher, but he does have an unused voice line wherein he yells in fear and panic when the statue gets set ablaze. So, you do the math. I do find it a little bit curious how there are a total of 7 people canonically admitted to Happy Volts in the game, and 4 out of those people believe in the Watcher, so there's some kind of connection there. The filthy non-believers being Galloway, Johnny Vincent, and, interestingly enough, one of the Townies, Leon. What's interesting about the statue at the asylum is that the cult obviously appear to have some kind of belief in the statue either having a connection to the Watcher or being the Watcher, as when you destroy the statue's power box, thus setting it aflame, all of the inmates in the area panic and start running around. There's obviously a very strong commonly held fear in this cult, one that is recognized by the asylum's orderlies, as one of them even refers to the chaos as being, quote, another Watcher stampede. Oh, and before people jump down my throat and they're like, hey, what about the poster, SWEGTA? Yes, the poster. What about the poster? Let's talk about the poster. Okay, so during the Chapter 2 mission, Movie Tickets, Jimmy meets Pinky from the preps, and behind Pinky, there's a sinister-looking poster. I've heard a few people speculate that this is tied to the Watcher, or has some kind of connection to the Watcher, possibly even a way for the cult to subtly sneak their beliefs into mainstream culture. For some reason. If I'm gonna be honest, I think Rockstar just took some concept art of Mr. Luntz, the school janitor, and then came up with an idea for a stalker horror movie poster and gave it a generic name like Creepy Watcher. Yeah, I know it's not the most interesting explanation, but it is the most plausible one. It's honestly surprising how much disturbing shit Rockstar managed to sneak into Bully. Happy Volts itself is pure nightmare fuel. It looks like a location you'd use in a Saw film. As you make your way down the hallways, all you can hear is the wind caressing the cold, filthy walls and shrieks of patients in pain and utter agony and fear. Rated T. Anyway, that's it for this video. Big shout out and thank you to Simon Bestia for scanning the Brady Game strategy guide. It feels good to be back, it really does. You know that spark that I once had? It's there. It's there. I can like physically feel it inside of me almost. In a non-inappropriate sensual way. But yeah, if you are excited for the future of this channel and you want to see some more beta bully videos or just Rockstar Games videos in general, you know, trivia, opinion pieces, news coverage, whatever floats your boat, subscribe and hit the bell and all that stuff. Anyway, that's it for this video. You folks, as always, stay spooky. Peace.